Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Canvas Conversations brought to you by FloCombat. We've got a great episode for you guys today, but before we start off, I want to go ahead and thank our newest sponsor, Fuji Sports. They hooked us up with this awesome gi this last week, just last night actually, and I tried it on. It feels great. It's super lightweight. I can't wait to roll in it. So if you guys haven't checked out Fuji Sports before, they've got all kinds of great gear. They've got protective gear, clothing, rash guards, the works. So if you're into rolling or you practice and train in MMA or martial arts, you definitely want to head over to Fuji Sports and check them out. And when you're there, use promo code CANVAS to get a little discount at the checkout for you. We got a great episode, like I said, featuring two awesome fighters. The first interview was with Jason "The Kid" Knight, who will be fighting May 27th in Liverpool at UFC Fight Night 130. It was great to catch up with Jason. It's been a while since we talked, and it's always fun to chat with him. He's always enjoying his toys in the outdoors, so we caught up with him and learned a little bit more about some of the stuff he's doing outside on his four-wheeler, and that's always cool to get to know the guys in that light. And we also talked about his time that he spent with Cowboy Cerrone down at Cowboys Ranch, and it's good to get to know some of those up and comers and those new guys. So it's fun to talk with Jason and catch up with him. So we'll go ahead and kick things off with Jason "The Kid" Knight. All right, guys, our first guest of the day is no stranger to the show. It's our friend Jason "The Kid" Knight. What's going on, Jason? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back from the gym. Just to eat me a sandwich and relax for a little while.
There you go. There you go. You got another session tonight?
I'm gonna take it easy. I trained for about 3 hours this morning, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the same. Get in, about 3 hours in the morning, and then do the same thing on Saturday. But this week's all about trying to make sure that I don't get injured. The last week, we trained pretty hard, but we're trying to make sure that we keep it as safe as we can.
Absolutely. Well, I see in your spare time you're out there enjoying your toys out there. Tell me a little bit about that.
Man, I like to go mud riding as often as possible. Either mud riding, fishing, something like that. But we went this past weekend, and me and my wife we had a blast. That's something that we really enjoy to do together. She's a badass on a four wheeler, so it's fun to watch her get out there and play, and I get out there and play as well.
I saw your video. You do like a little. It looks like you go into a little creek. You do a little wheelie. You're up like this on one foot. It looks like you do this all the time.
Yeah, man. Especially if I don't have a fight coming up. But if I don't have a fight coming up, we're probably just about every weekend. If not every weekend, it's every other weekend. And anytime we get a little bit of free time, we're out there playing. Trying to have some fun.
Is your wife as good as you are?
Be honest with you, she's probably better.
Really? Wow.
She's a G. Her family, they weren't, like rich or anything, but they weren't as poor as I was growing up. I didn't have my first four-wheeler of my own until I made it to the UFC. So, I never, anytime I ever drove a four-wheeler, it was on other people's four-wheelers. She's been doing this shit since she was a kid, so she's a lot better than I am.
That's so cool. So is that something that kind of attracted you to her, that you guys like the same stuff like that, being able to go mud riding and stuff?
Yeah, man. She's just a crazy, funny chick. Likes to go out and have fun and real adventurous and stuff. And that was like an immediate attraction. She's a lot like me, but we're very different all at the same time. So it works out perfect.
Absolutely. I hear your boy. I think it's maybe your boy or your daughter there in the background.
Yeah, my little boy. If somebody's outside, he wants to come outside. If you go inside, he wants to go inside. So Yeah, what can you do?
I saw you posted on your Instagram that you had just signed him up for preschool, and your daughter, she just graduated kindergarten. Is that going by fast for you being a dad, man?
Yeah, man. I've got my little boy. He'll be 3 in November. I've got another little girl. She turns 3 on the 23rd of this month, and then my oldest, she's 6. She just turned 6 on April the 27th. So it's crazy that my 6-year-old, she was younger than my youngest just the other day, and it's just going by so quick, man, and making me feel old for damn sure.
So you got three, right?
Yeah, I got three, two little girls and one little boy. The two youngest they're right out 6 months and a day apart, so they're a handful. I got them all three. I get both of my little girls. I'll get them tomorrow, and I'll have them all weekend. I'll get to spend some time with them before I head off to England.
Are they at an age yet when you leave for a fight that they miss you? Do they realize and understand what you're going off to do?
Oh yeah, yeah. They know that Daddy's going to fight. My little boy, every fight, my wife has a video of him standing in front of the TV screaming, "Go Daddy, go Daddy!" It's pretty awesome. And every time I'm gone, I'll get phone calls. I miss you, Daddy. Come home, Daddy. So I try to be here as much as possible. And when I have to be gone, I try to stay on the phone with them as much as possible.
So what does it mean to you to have that support from your kids and to see those videos of them, just cheering you on and stuff? I feel like that's got to be pretty awesome for you.
Yeah, man, it's great. I've had a big support system my whole career, and just to have my kids added into that support system is awesome. I can't wait till they get a little bit older, and I can get them into mixed martial arts, and I hope it'll change their lives like it did mine.
Absolutely. Well, you started mixed martial arts at a young age. I saw, and speaking of your Instagram, I saw that other photo you posted. I think
Yeah,
you were real young. I like the caption you mentioned. I think you're 14 or something, and you're standing
yeah,
behind you is a boxing ring with a dog kennel inside of the boxing ring. Did you fight in that night?
yeah, man. I fought in that thing like 6 times. Uh, what's crazy is like it was an actual dog kennel. It didn't have the rubber coating or anything, so it still had the fucking barbs and everything. So every time you got in there, if you had to do some cage work, expect to be all kind of scratched up from
Oh, jeez.
the chain link fence just tearing into you. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. I consider that as the good old days. That's when nobody really had any skill. You just go in there on heart and bust your ass and see if you can get the win.
So when you were doing that and you're walking into Academy, you're buying the cheap UFC fighter gloves. In the back of your mind, were you thinking to yourself, someday, man, someday I'm gonna be putting on the real things. Someday I'll be fighting in the UFC.
Ah, man, really, really, when I was 14, I was all about just having fun. It probably wasn't until about a year or so later that, I had my mind set on UFC. When I first got into MMA, I didn't even know what the hell it was. I didn't even know what UFC was. I started out just training in the backyard, and then I found out about that place called the Fight Club, and I just thought, this is something I can have some fun doing, and not get simple assault charges pressed every time you turn around. Well, then, little by little, we start watching UFC, and next thing you know, it just turns into this one big dream that I got to make happen.
I love it, man. So when do you head to Liverpool?
I leave out Monday morning. I'm. It's gonna be super early. I think like 6:30 in the morning.
Do you enjoy traveling so far for a fight?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm super excited about it. So far the furthest I've traveled for a fight is Australia, and that was pretty sweet. Just going to another country, seeing different parts of the world, seeing how those people live, and I'm super excited to go to Liverpool. Uh, this weekend is like I think they're having like, I think it's the day before my fight. They're having the big soccer finals over there.
Mm-hmm.
They call it football,
Yeah.
but I call it soccer. But yeah, they're having like a big championship match or something, and I'm going to try my best to make sure that I can go watch that. So they say that Liverpool is actually in the championship, so they say that it's going to be like insanely crazy energy over there. So I'm excited to see what it's like.
Yeah, man, they're huge in football or soccer, whatever you want to, whichever one you choose to call it. But yeah, they're huge over there, so that should be really cool timing for you. Do you know when that game is?
Uh, from what I understand, it's going to be Saturday at like 7:30 over there. Saturday night at like 7:30. But I do not have a clue what that's going to be over here. I think it's like a 6 hour time difference, so it'll probably be on at like 1:30 back home or something. But I don't know how you can watch it here. Yeah, if I can, I'm going to get my weigh-ins done and over with, and go out and watch some soccer and watch all their fans raise hell, and hopefully just do something to enjoy it and get the fight off my mind, something to take me away for a little while.
Absolutely. Well, my man, speaking of the fight, you've got a big matchup in Makwan Americani. He's been out for a while, but he's an exciting fighter as well. How do you like that matchup?
Man, I'm excited about it. I think he's going to be tough. I think he's going to be, probably a better wrestler than me. I believe that I've got the edge in the stand-up. I believe I've got the edge on the ground. I think that if I just go real great, just relentless with my attacks, that I think I can break him. He seems like one of those guys that, he'll fold under pressure. And if you've ever watched me fight, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to apply the pressure, and we're going to see if he can hold up to it. And if he does, that's great. We're going to have us a war. But if he doesn't, then I'm going to go out here and I'm going to break him.
So how do you see the fight playing out? Do you see it going, being a war out there?
Man, I believe, it's one of two ways. Either it's going to be a hard-fought decision, or he's going to take me down, and I'm going to either submit him, or I'm going to, catch him in a bad position and get a TKO. One of the two. I believe if I get the submission or the TKO, that'll be pretty early, first or second round. And, if I get the TKO, I'm going to try to make it vicious. Like I said, I'm going to be aggressive and relentless the whole time. No matter where we're at, I'm going to be dropping elbows, dropping punches, knees, whatever I can throw. I'm going to be nonstop throwing punches, throwing elbows, kicks, whatever. I'm going to make sure that I never slow down.
There you go. So this is your first time in your career that you've suffered back-to-back losses. So I'm curious, what's your mindset like heading into this fight?
Yeah, pretty much the same as any other fight. I got to go out here and I got to beat the guy in front of me. All the stuff in the past doesn't matter. I'm going out here to have fun, and that's the way I look at it. Losing's not that big of a deal to me. Of course, nobody wants to lose, but it's all just a stepping stone on the journey to where I'm going. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to learn something from it every single time. We're going to try to get better, and we're going to try to take that next step in the right direction. So. There's no added pressure or anything like that. It's just go out here, grit your teeth, and get through this guy, and on to the next one. Go have fun as long as I can do it. As long as I can have fun, I look at it like this. I got maybe 10 years left in this career, and I want to fight as often and as many times as I can, because before you know it, my body won't hold up anymore. And there goes my window to have the fun. Like you was talking about the four wheelers and stuff. That's fun to me. I have a blast riding the four wheelers, going fishing and all that stuff. But there's nothing in this world that compares to stepping inside that octagon. And I've only got a limited amount of time to do it. And win, lose, or draw, I'm just gonna keep doing it as often as I can, and hopefully one day I'll go down as a legend.
I love it. Well, I'm just curious, does coming off of the two losses, does it light a fire under you during camp, though?
Yeah, man, I've been training my ass off. Of course, nobody wants to go out there and get that third loss. And, I definitely don't plan on going out there and getting the third loss. I didn't plan on getting the first loss or the second loss either, but, each fight, I try to train like I'm training for a championship fight. Every now and then, stupid stuff happens. Like the Benitez fight, I went up, I caught strep throat the week before the fight. Nothing I could do about that. I took a shot of penicillin, and I thought that I would be better. Well, halfway through the first round, I gassed out. The Ricardo Lamas fight, I got caught. And nothing you can do when you get caught. I didn't even know I was in the fight for half of that round.
Mm.
This time I'm in shape, I'm ready, and I'm excited to go out here and go to war.
So what's your biggest takeaway from those two losses that you suffered back to back? What are you taking into this fight?
Man, for one, with the Lamas fight, I got to make sure that I'm a lot safer with keeping my hands up and try to make sure that I don't get punched so much. I know that I've relied on my chin a lot, and it's got me a long ways. I took a lot of real tough shots that a lot of people can't and stayed standing. I got to make sure that, I'm moving a little more, keeping my hands up a little bit more. And, I'm definitely going to try to implement that in this fight. The Benitez fight, pretty much the only thing that taught me was don't fight sick. I don't think that guy could beat me ever if I was myself. He supposed to show up that night. You can control, like say if I broke my hand or something, I can fight through that. But, whenever your body's not working for you, it's just not working for you. Halfway through the first round, I had the spaghetti legs and the spaghetti arms, couldn't even hardly hold my arms up. So whenever you get tired like that, you go back to doing dumb shit and all the bad habits come out. And that's exactly what happened in that fight. So, from now on, if I'm sick before a fight, if I do have to take the fight, then I'm definitely not going to be taking any kind of antibiotic shots or anything like that. So we'll just fight through the sickness, and I think it'll be a lot better than trying to fight through antibiotics draining me.
Absolutely. Is that what you were suffering from last time? You had taken some antibiotics you think might have kind of drained your system a little bit?
Yeah, man. That's all I could think of, man. I had the strep throat the week before the fight, and I got a shot of penicillin. And, leading up to the fight, I felt fine. All week, fight week, I felt fine. But as soon as I went out there, my adrenaline got pumping, and I really exerted some energy. It was just like my energy went away so fast. And, everyone's told me that was the antibiotics. So that's all I can think of, because I trained hard for that fight. I was in shape. And then all of a sudden, the cardio just wasn't there.
Wow. So, well, I'm curious, how do you feel about Brandon's upcoming fight? What do you think about that? How do you see him delivering?
Man, I'm excited. Brandon, he's a workhorse. Me, after a fight, I might take, a few weeks off, a month off. You never know. I might even turn it into 2 months. Brandon, since his first UFC fight, I think he might have taken 4 or 5 days off. The guy just doesn't stop. And, Enrique Barzola, the only thing he has for Brandon is takedowns. And Brandon has worked the hell out of his takedown defense. And I think that it's fixing to be a really bad night for Barzola. And I think Brandon's name's just fixing to skyrocket. I'm excited. I'm excited to see his progression.
I love it, man. I saw you guys have been together for a while. When did you guys first start training together?
Right before the Jim Allers fight, right before my second UFC fight. He's been there since then. And if you go back and watch that fight, you watch my stand up. Like say if you watch the Kawajiri fight, which was my first UFC fight, or even the Titan FC fight, and then you go back and you watch the Jim Allers fight, you can see my stand up just go from one level to the next, and all of that's Brandon Davis. He's been my striking coach since he's got down to our gym, and I can't thank him enough for bringing me to that next level, and me and him, we're just going to keep rising together, and I'm excited to see it happen.
Man, I love that. That's awesome. Well, Jason, I know sponsors play a big role for you as a fighter. So if you've had anybody that you've been wanting to shout out or thank, the floor's yours, man.
Awesome, man. Let me pull this shirt off because I've got so many of them on here that I can't even remember all of
Deal.
them at the same time.
Deal.
I've got DCT, that's Diamond Coast and Trucking. Thank y'all so much. Dreamers Construction, Kobe's Corner, The Fight Pack, Neo Life Physical Therapy, Heartland. That's an official fishing sponsor. They're opening an online store and everything. They're awesome people. My Nerdy Neighbor, it's a cell phone repair place. They've been helping me out. D1 AOC, that is a strength conditioning place in Mobile, Alabama. That they've been letting me come over and do my strength conditioning and get me ready for this fight. That's one thing that I've never done before, strength conditioning, never ever. And I've been doing it for this fight, and I think it's going to play a big role. Roots Salon, thank you so much. R. James Construction, thank you. And Cool Smoke and Vapors, thank you so much. Without all these sponsors, this fight probably wouldn't have even been possible. I've got to go and do a lot of things that, I wouldn't have been able to do without them. So thank y'all so much.
Awesome, man. Well, Jason, before I let you go, brother, what have you been listening to?
Everybody,
what's that?
I'm sorry. I was listening to say, everybody at Allen Belcher MMA Club, thank y'all so much. I went out last week and trained with Donald Cerrone at the BMF Ranch and all of his guys, man. Those are awesome guys. I can't thank them enough for, having me out and, showing me the hospitality. Thank y'all so much. All my fans, friends, and family, thank y'all so much as well.
Yeah, of course. I can't believe I missed that you went to visit a Cowboy. Tell me a little bit about that. How was that experience being with him, training with those guys?
Man, it was amazing. All of those guys, they're a lot like me. They train hard and they have a lot of fun at the same time. They get out there, they bust their ass, and whenever they're not busting their ass, they go out there and they play hard. And we got to go out wakeboarding and shit like that, surfing behind the boat. Went mountain biking, played ultimate frisbee. We did all kind of shit. Like there's so much stuff that was packed into 1 week. It felt like I was there a month. So, I had an awesome time there, and I learned a lot while I was there. Got in a lot of work with a lot of great guys. So, man, I can't thank them enough.
How did that opportunity come up?
Brandon Davis fought on the Contender Series in Las Vegas. What was it, last year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, after the Contender Series fight, I seen Cowboy up there and it's like, "What's up, man? How's it going?" And he said, "Not much." He said, "What are y'all doing tonight?" Told him, we're thinking about going out. He said, "Well, look, get my number, come out with us." I wound up going out with him that night in Vegas. We met him at this club over there. Next thing you know, he told me, "Hit me up, come train with me." Well, I called him up about a month or so ago and told him, when I was thinking about coming out to train, he said, "Awesome, man, come out, no problem." And, it's kind of crazy because when I got out there, he told me, he's like, "Look, we don't let a lot of people come out here. Y'all motherfuckers got lucky." And I was like, "Hell yeah, man, that's awesome." Because, this is a guy I've been looking up to since the WEC. This has been one of my idols always. And to get the opportunity to go out and train with him and hang out with him, man, I really can't express how much, that meant to me. I can't thank those guys enough. In this career, I've lived so many dreams, and dude, that was right up there with making it to the UFC.
Wow, man, that does sound like a dream come true. That's pretty awesome. So who else was there besides Cowboy?
Man, I got to train with John Dotson. I got to meet Diego Sanchez. There was a lot of guys up there, but at the ranch, Tyson Pedro was out there. Uh, you got Donald Cerrone, and then he's got a lot of up and coming guys. That's what I like about it so much is Donald Cerrone. He's not focused on, you know, of course he brings in some awesome guys from Jackson Winks and stuff coming to his ranch, but as far as staying at his ranch, he has a lot of up and coming guys that are like family, and they don't let outsiders in very often. So it was awesome to be able to go out there, and now I feel like I'm part of the family, and that's how they treated us. And me and Brandon went out there together, and we made some friends that I believe we'll be friends with for a lifetime.
That's awesome, man. It's so cool to be involved in a sport where you can be living your dream, providing for your family, and making and creating new friendships.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna give a shout out to the guys at BMF Ranch. I know you're not gonna know any of them.
That's okay.
But
I like
Jafari,
to learn these guys' names. I'll go find them.
Jafari, he's a badass wrestling coach out there. Pedro, he's a striking coach out there. Pato, my boy Pato, he's a badass boxer out there, man. I got beat up by Pato all the time. You got, let me think. You got Flav, a guy named I don't know his whole name, but I know his last name's Flavion, so they call him Flav. You got a guy out there named Shadow. There was a German guy that came out. He just happened to come out there, but man, all these guys were so awesome. The guy out there named became really cool. Some guys you can talk bullshit with and hurt their feelings and stuff, but Juan wasn't one of those guys. He was calling me a pussy, I was calling him a bitch, stuff like that, and just letting it roll right off our backs, having a lot of fun with it, man. And I'm one of those guys. I like to shit talk, and if you don't have thick skin, you can't deal with me, and those are my kind of people. As much shit as I talk, they had it coming right back at me. So I felt that family atmosphere, and I had a blast out there.
That's cool, man. I think that's maybe
Shit,
the fighter
hey,
in you.
my phone's dying, bro.
Oh, that's
You
okay.
hear me? My phone's about it.
That's
It's
okay.
something that's powering off.
We're wrapping up anyways. Anyways. Jason, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate your time as always, sir. Everyone, be sure to
All
tune
right,
in
peace,
May 27th from
peace.
Liverpool. It's UFC Fight Night 130. Jason Knight taking on Makwan and Mirakani. You don't want to miss it. Thanks, brother. Appreciate the time, man.
Peace, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. So there's our interview with Jason Knight. Always great to catch up with him. That's going to be an awesome matchup between him and Amir Khani. I can't wait to see that matchup. I feel like those are two exciting guys. It's been a while since we've seen Amir Khani back in the octagon and fighting, so it'll be nice to see him get a warm welcome from Jason Knight. So moving on, our next guest of the show will be UFC Ultimate Fighter Season 27 contender Ricky Steele. Ricky Steele will be fighting this next Wednesday on FS1 against Suman Makataran. And I can't wait for that matchup, man. Suman was going kind of back and forth with Tyler Diamond, who he had on the show a couple weeks ago. And I thought they were going to get the matchup, but it turned out being Ricky Steele that Team Stipe decided on. So that'll be an interesting matchup. And it was great to talk with Ricky Steele and get to know him for the first time. So be sure to stay tuned. This is a great interview, and I'll talk with you guys afterwards. All right, guys, our next guest is a contender in the current season of The Ultimate Fighter, Season 27, and his fight will be this next Wednesday on FS1. He's fighting for Team DC. It's Ricky Steele. What's going on, Ricky? Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. So what kind of day did you have today? Busy day or what?
Busy day, man. I've had a lot of them as of late. I own an asphalt paving business, so with the good weather, we get rocking and rolling. It's our time, so we're just out here grinding.
Absolutely. So is it tough to juggle owning your own business and being a professional fighter?
Uh, it can be, being a professional fighter is owning your own business in itself. It's just as hard as any other job out there. You have to put in the time. There's definitely no faking it when it comes to this shit. You know what I mean? Once they lock that cage door, it's either you're prepared, you did the work, or you're in serious trouble. So having both of them, it's absolutely very hard. But I love it, and it comes to mind every time. One of my most favorite sayings. My uncle, who's a very successful business owner, and one time I was talking to him about juggling this and that, and I actually opened up a gym as well. And he said to me, world champions do it every day, and it's something that's always stuck, and I've never really bitched since.
Wow, that's some good advice, man. So, how did you get into that business or into owning your own business? How old are you?
I'm 29 years old. I've worked for myself now for about 7, 8 years. Just with the martial arts, I was lucky and born into the trade of asphalt paving. My uncle and my grandfather own a very successful paving business, and I was kind of like the foreman for them for a long time, from 18 until about 21, 22 is when I started fighting. And once I did that, I started working for myself, and just chasing the dream, man. This is what I want to do. It's what I love to do. And I'm very thankful to have the trade skill in asphalt paving. But right now it's, I got a dream, I've got a timeline on it, and so I'm all in.
That's awesome. I love it. So, how did you first get into MMA? I mean, I hear you started martial arts young. So how did that transfer over to the sport of MMA?
I always wanted to take martial arts as far as I can. I've always loved fighting more than anything. I was kind of in a situation where I was just kind of trying to do the family thing for a while. Like I said, I was the foreman for, my uncle and grandfather's business, and just, trying to do that. And when things didn't quite work out, on one side of the sense, I always knew my dream, and I ran with it. Like I said, that's when I started working for myself, and I just worked just enough that allowed me to train all day, every day, as much as I can and need it. I was very lucky that when it come time to take a fight, even as an amateur, when it comes time to take a fight, I have the money set aside that all I do is train, and do it like a professional, which I've done from day one.
So what didn't work for you the first or in the other route? What was it that you said didn't work?
I've been in 2 relationships my whole entire life. One of them, the first one being with my daughter's mother. I have an 11-year-old daughter. She was my high school sweetheart. We got together when I was like 14, and it was about 17, 18 years old when we had our kid, and I'm just trying to provide for the family. I was trying to get us a house and do all this and that. And so I was about 21 when things just didn't quite really go that way. She's a wonderful lady, but it just, when you meet each other so young, it's just life. But that's when I just decided to follow my dream, and just ran with it. So priorities changed.
Did that kind of relationship not working out and having the kid together and all that, did that kind of fuel your fire for wanting to start fighting?
Absolutely. I was, like I said, it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to take martial arts as far as I can. And MMA is as real as it gets. And, and so, yeah, from day one, man, I've been all in. I've sacrificed a lot for it, including a lot of money, that I could have made by now. And, so it's just what I love to do. So I'm going to keep doing it.
So how hard was it for you to leave your daughter for all that time to be living in a house with a bunch of guys that want to beat you up?
That was the hardest deal about it for me. You know what I mean? You hear a lot of things, this and that, about luxuries or, not having your cell phone. Man, the hardest part was not having my girl, for sure. She's 11 right now, so she's at that age where, we do everything together, and it was hard for her, too, so it made it even harder for me. But, it's my girl, man, so I just can't even put words to it. It sucked.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So what did she think before you left? What was she telling you? Was she sad? Was she excited for you? What was she feeling like?
There was one day, it was probably close to a week out, that like really kind of sank in, like, oh shoot, dad's leaving, and it was kind of a sad night. But other than that, it's just been all love, all joy. My girl, it's never been a matter of if you're going to be in the UFC. It's just win. She's always talked about it like Dad's, going to be there if not there. And so, she's always had faith and trust in me. So, it's so motivating for me. I got to make it happen.
Awesome, man. Well, you're obviously fighting in this upcoming episode on Wednesday, like we had already mentioned. I'm curious, after you watched this last episode the other night, what did you think about seeing their decision to take you over Tyler?
You know what? There's no easy fights in the house, and that the way it all played out is just, is what it is. If it wasn't me, like I said, there's no easy fight. So it didn't bother me who I fought. I don't think it really bothered anybody who they fought, really. Tyler seemed to have really had a hard on for Simon, but, it's just, in a sense, it didn't matter, man.
Awesome. I wish we could talk more about it, but obviously we've got to tiptoe around the subject. But we also saw in the preview that Dulani kind of gets into it with some more of the guys. Is that something that kind of bugged you throughout the house, or was it easy for you to live with that type of character in the house?
Yeah, for me, man, I was on a mission. I didn't even care, for the most part, it was all love. It was all fun, jokes, laughs. There's a couple moments, and so in a sense, I really paid no mind to it. The only thing that did kind of bother me is Dulani. He represents, or says in a sense, that he represents karate. And karate is my roots. That's my life, and I'm all about the respect, aspect of it. We are not brawlers. We're not street fighters. We're nothing. We're professional athletes that work very hard, in our craft. And so to see him, say he fights and represents like the good in his people, and not saying that he doesn't, but it's just that he had his moments where he kind of let the less important things act as if they were and stuff. So I just don't like to see it, and leave the karate out of it, you know what I mean, because that's all about respect, man. So if you ain't showing it, then you ain't about it.
Are you looking forward to seeing your highlighted stuff on TV?
I can't wait, man. It was a tough fight. I'll tell you that. I think I'm allowed to tell you that, without a doubt, toughest fight I've had in my life. And I'm super happy, super excited. I feel like I represented myself, my family, my roots well. Suman, man, he's a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a guy. I became, closest, to him as anybody else in the house. I think he's a great gentleman, and it was an absolute honor to share the cage with him.
Has it been hard not to tell people how things went?
Yeah, it has been. Of course, people, they're super excited for me. So I'm extremely blessed and happy for me. And I think this is just great that people care so much, and follow me on my journey. I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm truly blessed, and I love it. And I thank you all for it. But yeah, I'm excited to sit down for the first time. How weird is it to watch it as it happens, like with everybody and stuff, so, I'll be there. It'll be fun.
What's that like, promoting a fight that you already know the outcome to, that you can't talk about? What is that like?
It's crazy, man. This whole experience has been crazy. I still, lay in bed just thinking like, holy smokes, man, I can't believe that happened. Can't believe we did it. It was just, it's crazy. It's finally here. We get to watch it play out. So it's super cool, man.
So while you were living in the house, was it weird to have those cameras on you? I mean, I can't really imagine what that's like, trying to eat cereal or breakfast or whatever, and having a camera on you.
24/7, man. We had a camera or a microphone up our a-hole, you sit in the room, you get to talking about anything, halfway interesting, and you got cameramen rushing in, and it was weird. But just same as I mentioned before, you get down there, you're on a mission, man. So you're doing the best you can to just stay mentally focused and worry about the important things, and that's being ready for a fight. But you'll catch yourself sitting in a corner, like, staring at cameras everywhere, the cameramen running everywhere, the other competitors themselves, like, I'm kind of one of the more quiet, laid back, just there observing, and it was a trip, man, no doubt about it.
Did it bother your privacy at all? I feel like sometimes I just want my own privacy without the cameras.
Oh yeah, you sign that away with everything else when you decide to go down.
Got you. So I'm curious, after all the episodes you've seen, do you think it's weird to see yourself on TV?
That's still weird. Each and every time, man. It's weird, and the way I like the way it's all playing out so far. It's really about the fights, the fighters, and the training and stuff. So, there's some cool stuff. Like I said, we had a lot of fun in the house, and I'm sure we'll see some of it. I hope we see some of it on TV. But I like the way they're going about it, making it just about the fighters and whatnot, as it should be. They gathered up a hell of a group this time around, and I think they did it right.
What was your favorite experience as far as the working with the coaching staff?
My favorite experience, man, like I tell everybody, there's just no comparison, nothing like being around world champions every single day for almost 2 months. Fighting is such a mental aspect anyways, like the most important part, and so it was just great. Team DC, his coaching staff, all the guys, they're the hell of a group. They're always laughing, joking, and stuff, and it was just it was a great environment to be around.
I love it, man. Well, Ricky, we're kind of limited with all the questions we can ask you, being that your fight's about to be coming up. So if you're up for it, man, I've been doing a bit of tough trivia with all the guys from the Tough series that I've been talking to. So if you're down for the challenge, I'll ask you some questions, try and answer as many as you can in 30 seconds.
Let's do it.
All right, deal. I'll set the timer up, and then just let me know when you're ready. I'll try and rattle through these as quickly as possible, and you do the same. Cool?
Go ahead.
All right. What UFC fighter has the most title fight wins?
Demetrius Johnson.
What year did Ronda Rousey sign with the UFC? 2010 or 2012?
2012.
True or false? Demetrius Johnson lost his first fight in the UFC.
False.
What fighter's nickname is The Kid?
The Kid.
Time, but I'll give it to you if you get it right.
Shit, I don't know, man.
All right, Jason Knight. But you got all the rest right, man.
Right on.
Good.
How'd I do?
That was good.
Yeah.
You did good, man. So you're in second place.
Behind who?
Luis.
God damn, man. That fucker wins everything.
He was so confident going into it too. He killed it. He got 6. One more than you.
He's confident for sure, man. Right? Hey, he's rightfully so.
Awesome, man. But you still did great, brother. So, man, before I let you go, I know sponsors probably play a big role for you guys. So if there's anybody you'd like to thank or shout out, man, feel free.
Of course, all my sponsors, Tiger 2, what's up? From day one, they've always, helped out and sponsored me, been there on the ride. Nuco Alliance Physical Medicine, I see them weekly. Man, they help keep my body going. Integrated Medicine of Idaho. Love you guys. Thanks. And just most importantly, man, I just want to give a shout out to Boise, Idaho, all my people, my family, everybody. You guys are awesome. Hey, man, thanks to you too for giving a damn about what's going on with me, even caring about, all this stuff. And so I think it's great. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. So there's our interview with Ricky Steele. It was great to talk with him for the first time and get to know him a little bit. I can't wait for next week's episode now. He said it was the toughest fight of his career fighting Suman. So, I mean, that just speaks volumes about the matchup we're about to see next week. So be sure to tune in next Wednesday to FS1. That's 9 p.m. Central Time here in Texas. So be sure to check that matchup out. You don't want to miss that one. I appreciate you guys stopping by and listening today. I appreciate the fighters, Jason Knight and Ricky Steele, for giving us their time. And also, I want to thank again Fuji Sports. Thank you guys so much for everything, and be sure to check those guys out, guys. Don't forget, use promo code CANVAS at the checkout to get a little discount, and be sure to check out Canvas Conversations all over social media, and you guys can listen to our cast wherever you listen to stuff, and also at FloCombat.com. So be sure to tune in every week, and we appreciate your time, guys. Thanks.